I've recently had some really, really good consultations. I find it very rewarding work helping people with promissory notes. I've learned so much over the years, and a lot of people say to me, your way seems to be the simplest. There's lots of different ways, many ways of killing a cat, and they say yours is the simplest with the most realistic expectations and the most realistic outcomes. What I mean by that is I tend to downplay it, and I'm very conservative about the outcome. I say it's like a game of chess, and you're playing for a standoff. You're playing for stalemate, or the game keeps going. When you play chess, you know, you keep moving your king around the board. Check, check, check. You've got to get your king right in the corner to get you into checkmate. If you can't do that, it's just the game goes on. Or you both give up, you agree to a draw. Or the game goes on. You just keep moving your king. As long as you don't get your king in the corner. But if you say that your opponent's only got a king and a rook, it's very, very hard to get checkmate. The only way to do it is if you're stupid and get yourself into the one position where they can get checkmate, which is very hard. Right in the corner, your king's one space away, and then the rook goes down, checkmate. So don't get into that situation. Just keep the game going. You can keep going forever, or one of you gives up. Make sure it's not you that gives up. It's a realistic outcome. Now, with some situations, we can get checkmate with promissory notes, where they give up, basically. They just mark it as settled. They cannot be bothered with it. They mark it as settled. That is checkmate, you've won. But I don't tell anybody who I'm helping with consultations, with promissory notes. I don't say, you know, there's a good chance we're going to get to this situation. No, there's a slim chance you'll get to that, but most certainly you'll just achieve stalemate using promissory notes the way that I teach. So have realistic expectations. Mine's the most simplest. I don't do anything complicated. It's very simple. Using my promissory note is making a promise. It's got to be, there's 3 things in the Bills of Exchange Act for a promissory note to be treated as cash. And the 3 things are, it's got to have an unconditional promise. It cannot be conditional. I promise to pay on this condition. It cannot be. That's not cash then. But if it's an unconditional promise to pay the bearer on demand, it has to have the amount in numbers and in words. I mean, look at a £5 note to get an idea what a promissory note has to be treated as cash. It's got this promise, unconditional promise, and it's got the amount in numbers and in words, and it has to have a signature. There's no need to do it in this colour ink and this angle with this. No, those things aren't on the £5 note. That is a promissory note that is treated as cash. It's just got Sarah John's signature. She signs it. It's got the unconditional promise in numbers and in words. Nice and simple. Yours will be the same. And on ours, we write very clearly, I promise to pay the bearer on demand the sum of £29,000, etc., sterling, in the same like manner and form as would be the Bank of England at the time of payment. So this is the question I still get asked by someone who I thought they weren't just a normie, they weren't just new to all this, they really studied, but they still say, yeah, but when I'm promising to pay it, when am I going to pay it? You're right, you are making a promise, and it is a responsible promise. You have to be aware of that. You're making a promise to pay this at a future time. Your promise says, in the same like manner and form as would be the Bank of England. So what I don't like is when someone says to me, am I going to have to pay it with real money in the future? What is real money? Do you think that £5 note is real money? That's what the normies think. That's what all that Mind of Steely group, wherever they are, a group of trolls, they say, oh, legitimate money. The £5 note's not a promissory note, that's cash. They don't know the difference. No, it's ridiculous to pay one promissory note with another promissory note. We're calling out the ridiculousness of the situation. We're calling out the fraud of the whole situation. So no, you do not pay it with another promissory note. Do I pay it with silver? That's the question. Hello. But no, you don't pay it with silver, and you don't pay it with another promissory note. It is a promise that you are making, a very responsible promise that you're going to settle this in the same way that Sarah John, who is at the moment the one who signs all the Bank of England promissory notes, the way that she will honour all those promises at the time of payment. They might change the way they honour those promises in the future. That's fine. That wouldn't apply. It's at the time you write it and sign it. Now, I give everybody a personal guarantee, and I will guarantee this, they cannot satisfy it with sterling silver. All the 5, 10s, 20s, 50s, and all the digital pounds, sterling notes, promissory notes that are in supply, they cannot honour those with, because I did an interview with Richard Vobes and he took the video down. It's a shame because it was a really good interview. He said, no, I've been told if you're telling people to write this promise, I promise to pay the bearer on demand the sum of £29,000 sterling silver or sterling, you're going to have to come up with £29,000 of sterling silver. That's 15,000 kilos. That's like 15 tons, metric tons. That's a lot of silver. You're promising that. And I say, yes, you are promising that if the Bank of England honours all of their promissory notes in the same way. You know, stage 1 of the monetary cycle is promissory notes convertible for gold and silver. And that is honourable. That is an honest system, sound monetary system. But no, we're in stage 2. Well, we're actually in stage 3 now. Stage 2 is suspend convertibility of the promissory notes for gold and silver. That was from 1971 up until 2025. And here we are just going into 2026 now in 2 days' time. We're in stage 3. Gold and silver revalue up slowly. It takes time. They'll revalue up to account for all the promissory notes added to supply since the last time the cycle repeated. They go up to where they should be if they kept track with the expansion. In stage 1, there's not more promissory notes added to supply than there is gold and silver to convert them for. So everybody could convert the promissory notes for gold and silver, and there would be the right amount of gold and silver for the right amount of promissory notes in supply. If they doubled the supply of promissory notes, then the price of gold and silver would double in promissory notes. So you would need 2 £5 promissory notes, banknotes, to buy £5 LBS, pounds in weight, of silver. So that's where gold and silver should go up to account for however many promissory notes have been added to supply. It's important to understand that when you're writing these promissory notes. You are writing a promise to pay the bearer on demand the sum of this amount in the same way that Sarah John, who is the current chief cashier who signs all the banknotes, will honour all of theirs. It wasn't long, she replaced somebody else, and she'll probably be replaced in the future. Interestingly, she's the first woman. In the past, it was always men who signed the promissory notes, and it just shows it doesn't have to be a man, woman. It could be as long as it has a signature. The Bills of Exchange Act, which has not been repealed, it's been amended, but not very heavily amended. That this part has changed, been amended. That clearly says it has to have a promise that's unconditional. It has to have a signature, and it has to be delivered. And then that is cash. And the point I'm making, all the trolls who came after me are trying to think they're calling me out, because I'm saying promissory notes are trash. That's the conclusion I want you to come to. Yes, that is what I'm saying. It's just a note with a broken promise on it. The £5 note, the £10 banknote, is a note with a promise. I promise to pay the bearer on demand the sum of £10. Sarah John is the current chief cashier who signs it. She'll probably be replaced by someone else soon. And that is a broken promise. We're calling out that fraud. Yes, our one, you could say it's a broken promise. Is it? I don't know. If you write one, I promise to pay the bearer on demand the sum of £29,000 sterling, and you sign it, is that a broken promise? No, not yet. It is a suspended promise. We're waiting to see how Sarah John or the Bank of England will honour all of theirs, and we will honour ours in the same way. If they do not honour theirs, then we're doing ours in the same like manner and form. So you're writing one, it is not a broken promise. You're just calling out the fraud of the system. The biggest lies in the world, isn't it? The Tooth Fairy, Santa Claus, Father Christmas, and promissory notes. It's equally as big a lie that they are money. That is not money. A £5 note is not money. It is a note that promises money, promises silver. Your note that you're writing, that's not money. I never ever said it was. I've never claimed it was. I'm saying it is not money. It is cash. It is a promissory note. Promissory notes are cash. Cash is promissory notes. And your promissory note that you signed, that is just cash. It is not money. It is just currency. Currency is not money. It is just a note that promises money. And the system we're in now is a stupid system, but we can't choose that. That is the system. You can pay things in cash. Until the Bills of Exchange Act has been repealed, you are quite right to say you paid in cash. And then you reach this game of chess, go through these levels of resistance. They're saying you didn't pay in cash. You're saying you did. And I'm very realistic now with when I help people, whatever you're paying, you know, it's some car leases or this or that or unsecured personal loans. I never get involved with mortgages. No, it won't work. It has to be an unsecured or vehicle finance, something like that, where there's no loss, harm or injury. It's got to be under 30,000. It won't work over 30,000. And I'm very realistic. You're going to reach a standoff. You're playing for a standoff. You're going to have a civil dispute where you're saying you paid in cash and you can prove it. They're saying you haven't paid in cash, or sometimes they agree that you did pay in cash, but they don't accept that form of cash, which there's nothing in the Bills of Exchange Act or the Lord Denning ruling that can say that. And you've reached a standoff. And they're going to bluff, and they're going to keep going check, 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 check. And they're going to try and get your king into the corner, and they try and get you to give up. If you don't give up and you keep going for stalemate, you're going to end up a draw. To me, that is success, but that is a very realistic outcome. I'm not saying I can help you to definitely get checkmate. That's a very small amount of times that's happened. But if you reach a stalemate with your promissory notes, that is success. And the other thing is, if you've got all these things hanging over you and you've got these letters coming, I think it's not that long you have to wait until we get this great reset or whatever it's going to be called. We don't know, but I think we're in stage 3 of the monetary cycle. Stage 3 has always been less time duration than stage 2. Now, stage 2 was from 1971 up until 2025. When both gold and silver both got to new all-time highs in all currencies around the world. That is the start of stage 3, when this cycle has happened in the past. Stage 3 is a much shorter duration. It could be a couple of years, we don't know. It could be less than that. Gold and silver will revalue up to account for all the promissory notes added to supply since the last time the cycle repeated. What happens next? It's going to be chaos. I can only guess. Even the central planners do not know how this will play out. They don't know. They're aiming for a soft landing and a smooth transition. One scenario someone said to me recently this makes sense to me. It could be a big cyber attack, you know, a supposed cyber storm, massive attack, massive virus or something that everything goes dark, you know, the internet's turned off or most of the internet doesn't work, bang, you can't get into your bank account, finance, loans, it's all just, you can't see what's happening. Emergency powers come in. We got the internet back on, your phone's back on, that digital ID that you signed up for, we're going to give you 200 new digital pounds every week just to get the system working again. And then slowly they'll get all the records back. Okay, so you did owe this much, and this, now it'll all be in digital pounds, and the old pound is gone. And that'll be a similar system all around the world. Something like that. Or it could be war. There's at least 4 flashpoints, powder kegs that are ready to blow. You've got Venezuela, could blow. It could blow tonight. It really could. You've got China surrounding Taiwan now. Military exercise. Live fire military exercise. That's a powder keg ready to blow. You've got the Middle East. It looks like they're going to push Iran again and keep attacking Iran, trying to get them to do something. They keep poking them. Might attack Iran again. And you've got this attack on Putin. Was it 29 drones, an assassination attempt on Putin? Whether it was NATO, whether it was the Americans, or whether it was Zelensky, I don't know. Zelensky's probably just a sock puppet, told what to say. But whoever it was, somebody tried to attack Putin. They failed. They tried to assassinate Putin. It was a failed attempt. That is a powder keg ready to blow. The Russians are so angry. But they all are, all 4. You got the China, Taiwan. You've got America, Venezuela, and it looks like Russia's going to help Venezuela. You've got the Middle East. You've got Ukraine, Russia. It's looking like a very unstable geopolitical situation all around the world. You've got the unstable instability and the unsustainable currency system since 71. We've just started stage 3. Gold and silver are going to revalue up to account for all the promissory notes, and it's going to be chaos. So my point is, whatever you're going through, you've just got to keep moving your king around the middle of the board and wait. Just wait. A lot of people are going through something. They're getting really nasty letters. They're getting the debt collectors calling around. They're getting the inland revenue. That all these people are hassling them. You've got so many things. You've just got to wait. You've just got to be patient. But you can't just do nothing. Don't bury your head in the sand. I'm not saying that. But if you can do delay tactics, just wait I genuinely feel something big is on the horizon in 2026. We don't know what it's like. Even the central planners don't know what it will be like. But it's going to be chaotic. It's going to be... The only thing that we can be certain of is more uncertainty. If you'd like to talk to me, book a consultation with me, emails in the description below. I can definitely help you. And by the way, I'll help you all the way through. So you do a £50 half-hour consultation with me, and it usually goes over half an hour a bit, no problem at all. We're still talking. I will send you all the information you need, and I've got a lot, but I won't overwhelm you. I'm going to just send you the PDF of the promissory note, and I'll make sure you do it correctly, what we've learned over the years. I'll send you some cover letters for some ideas, but I say to people, don't cut and paste the whole thing. Personalize it to your situation. Pick and choose what you like. Make your own one so that all of them are different. We don't want the standard one everyone's getting, all the banks. And I will help you every step of the way, because everybody has lots of questions. Little questions. There's no such thing as a stupid question. First time you're doing it, I will help you to make sure you don't make any mistakes. Do it all properly. Keep really good records. Keep proof of sending it. And then I'll help you all through the steps. That's included in your first consultation. Any emails, texts, I'll reply. I'll answer all your questions. And you might want another consultation with me later, and you might want a few more. You might not. But I'll be there to help you all the way through. If you want to book a consultation with me, email is in the description of this video.